call the March 20th meeting of the ONWASA Board of Directors to order at this time. And I'll ask everybody who can to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you remain standing for the invocation by Pastor Brian Young.
Amen. Thank you for this opportunity again, and I appreciate every time you let me come. Amen. Let's pray. Father, we just thank you today, God, for your guidance tonight in this meeting, Lord. We thank you for this distinguished board. We thank you for Mr. Howard, God, and all those that try to make ONWASA the best it can be for our communities. God, we ask you that you will guide each and every one of us tonight, God. Give us open ears and an open heart, open minds to receive, God, and to move forward with everything that needs to be done in this meeting tonight. We ask you to bless it now, God. Let your presence be in this room. In Christ Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, I want to welcome everybody tonight. Thank you to the staff who's here also. And I want to remind everybody to turn their cell phones off or to vibrate. Individuals making presentations or public comments are asked to adjust the microphone as necessary and to speak directly into the microphone. We'll have a public comment section at the end of the agenda. And this meeting is being recorded. So first I'll ask if anyone needs to pull anything to approve the agenda. Get a motion to approve the agenda. Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Does anybody want to pull anything off the consent agenda? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We'll move right into item 3A, our business for tonight. Mr. Moore.
Good evening, everybody. Good to be back again. Tonight I'm going to present the Southeast Service Area Wastewater Capacity Improvements contracts. The item consists of two single prime contracts, 1A for pipe work and 1B for the pump stations. This project involves, we'll construct a new pump station at the existing Holly Ridge wastewater treatment plant. We'll construct 8,700 linear feet of new 12-inch diameter force main from the new Holly Ridge pump station to the new summer house pump station. Then construct a new summer house pump station at the existing summer house wastewater treatment facility. From there, we will construct approximately 2,500 linear feet of 18-inch force main from the new summer house pump station to a temporary location, basically located at the end of the summer house property that abuts Holly Ridge Road. Contract 2 will pick it up there and continue the 18-inch to the North Topsail wastewater treatment plant. That contract is currently under design, so we'll get this built, and by then we'll be ready to bid that work out to connect it to the treatment plant. The bidding of these contracts has a little bit of history. I'll take a few minutes to go through that. We originally advertised them as one combined contract. We received one bid on November 26th, which did not meet the 3-bid requirement, so we rebid the job and it was reopened again on December of 2024. And the apparent low bidder for this project bid $22,940,105. We rejected this bid amount. It was considerably over what our estimate was. we went back to the drawing board, figured maybe a bit different strategy for bidding this project. So we basically split it into two. We did the pipe work as one contract and the two new pump stations as a second contract. The apparent low bidder for contract 1A for the project is CM Mitchell Construction Company in the amount of $4,802,253.40. And we did receive 3 bids. Contract 1B was subsequently bid as a separate contract a second time. We didn't receive any bids the first time. The apparent low bidder for the contract for this is TA Loving, and their bid was $12,468,100. So the difference between these two bids combined and the original bid for 22+ million was $5,669,000 and some change. So we saved a considerable amount of dollars by splitting the contracts and taking a different strategy to bid this out. So the action requested today, I should mention that the design engineer, Wooten, reviewed all the bids, found them responsive and responsible, and I recommend execution of the contracts with these firms. So the action requested is consider a motion to award contract 1A force mains to the lowest responsive bidder, CM Mitchell Construction Company, in the amount of $4,802,403.40, and authorize our CEO to execute the contract and any additional documents that might be required. And consider a motion to award contract 1B pump stations to the lowest responsive bidder, TA Loving Company, in the amount of $12,468,100, and authorize our CEO to execute the contract and any additional documents required in connection with this action. Are there any questions?
Just real quick,
Sure.
congratulations. That's a 30% savings over the first bid that came in. That's a,
Thank you very
that's a pretty big number.
$6 million. Yeah.
And you said eventually it'll tie into the North Thompson Beach. Any idea what the cost of that? I mean, obviously we have to do it, but any idea as what we're talking about? Is that going to be a similar type project?
Trying to recall the latest estimate I got.
You can just email me, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's just more
Look
curiosity.
it up and send you a note, but that's just now getting under final engineering design now.
We're creating a lot of waste, so it's good.
That's right.
Thank you, that's fine.
All right. Want to get some motions here?
Make a motion, we approve contract 1A, force main.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for contract 1A. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries, and then I need a motion for contract 1B.
Make a motion, we accept the contract 1B.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Contract is approved. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We'll move on to item B, the Dixon Water Treatment Plant expansion. Mr. Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, board members. Item B is the Dixon Water Treatment Plant Expansion Project Ordinance. As you are all familiar, we have been exploring expansion options at Dixon Water Treatment Plant to move from a 4 MGD or 1 million gallons per day to 6 million gallon per day facility. We've currently been doing that work with a grant that we received from the state through ARPA funding. Those funds unfortunately are, we're limited and are running low. So we're requesting this evening consider a motion to adopt CIP 038 project ordinance and the associated budget amendment. I would like to point out that that is part of our CIP planned for in our feasibility and rate studies to continue this work. That will move into some more of the substantial design and eventual construction of the expansion project. And earlier, or through this project ordinance, we'll also be constructing some of the transmission lines to get that raw water to the facility to meet the treatment capacity.
Okay, any questions?
Remind me what the cost, what the addition is for the budget amendment?
For,
You're going to have more money, is what you're telling us, to be able to
yes,
complete it.
so in our CIP currently is around 30 million.
Right.
But hopefully during this next design process, we'll have a much
Okay,
more
thank you.
solid estimate.
We certainly need more water.
Oh, yeah.
All right, can I
Is
get a
this,
motion?
Just real quick, this is to help with our water shortages that we sometimes have in the summertime down because of North Topsail. Is that primarily?
Part of that, absolutely. We will boost that Dixon plant capacity.
Okay.
It's going to take it.
Well, just for clarification, that doesn't mean we're ruling out the tank on North Topsail.
Oh, no, that's a whole nother project.
Gotcha.
Yeah, this is just expanding
Wanna
that
make
plant.
sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
The tank's really for pressure more so than anything, I think.
Exactly.
But-
Yeah, you get head
and-
pressure
and
off the tank.
reserve, yeah.
Yep,
It is just
absolutely.
production.
2 million more gallons a day, we'll have to have a place to put it.
Yeah, but we'll put all kinds of radio repeaters and stuff and pay for the whole thing.
All right, can I get a motion to adopt the CIP 038 project ordinance and associated budget amendment? So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. The motion carries. Moving on to item C, North Topsail wastewater plant expansion project.
Yes, sir. As we just discussed recently, currently constructing those transmission lines to move some of that flow to the North Topsail wastewater treatment plant. This project ordinance will establish that expansion from a current 1.5 million gallon per day to 3 million gallon per day capacity. We'll be utilizing a design-build approach for the project, as well as engaging an owner advisor throughout that process. Again, this is part of our Southeast Capacity Improvement CIP and was built into it. That is, the budget ordinance is approximately what we're estimating to be the project cost at this time. So this evening, we are requesting the adoption of the project ordinance and forthcoming budget.
Questions for Mr. Adams?
Just real quick, you're doubling the capacity. Obviously, it's not all for North Topsail. Is most of its needs ferry on the way in?
I hope not.
You got the new,
So that'll tie both those collection systems together, so it really is a capacity improvement for that southeast region.
okay.
Yeah, we got to look at the whole region,
That's right, because I mean, it's, when you drive up 210 right now, it's, if they can
coming.
build it, they're coming.
no doubt.
You think the estimate's on the high side, I hope? 1.5 million gallon for 52 million, that's not a great deal.
That's our best estimate at this point.
Yeah, they use a dollar amount per gallon. The engineers have a rolling number, but this is an MBR plant, so it's a little bit difficult to compare with some other projects, because it's unique. But we hope it's on the high side, but we won't know until we start the design building, start the GMP.
Any other discussion? Anybody want to make a motion to consider to adopt the North Topsail wastewater treatment plant capacity improvement project ordinance CIP 028 and corresponding budget amendment?
How about if I do that one? I'll make a motion.
Very good. Thank you. Have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And then, Mr. Adams, you're up again.
Yes, sir.
Mount Pleasant Pump Station relocation project.
As many of you may recall, in 2022, we applied for a Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities grant, more commonly known as a BRIC grant. And at that time, we approved, this board approved the 30% match for the grant requirement. Recently, we have received the award and approval for the grant to proceed for Phase 1, which is the design, engineering, surveying work to be done at the Mount Pleasant pump station. Phase 2, which is pending approval of Phase 1 completion and acceptance, would be for an additional $1.75 million for the construction. We are asking this evening that you accept the project ordinance and associated budget amendment, and it is only for Phase 1. We are going to be pursuing some additional funds to sort of close the gap. Cost increases from 2022 to 2025 are, significant, so we're going to be going back to the state to see if we can get some additional dollars to finish that project. Just as a reminder, that's the pump station in the Swansboro wastewater collection system. It's currently on Mount Pleasant Road near a creek, and it is at risk of some bank erosion. So we want to get that pump station, and we will be moving that pump station to a safer location.
We have the land for it?
Not presently. That is part of Phase 1.
Okay.
Make in contact with the neighbor to do an easement, hopefully, unless we have to acquire the property. Matt has made some phone calls.
We just talking about moving it over some?
Moving it up the street a little bit, staying on the same side of the road.
All right, any other discussion questions for Mr. Adams? Can I get a motion to adopt CIP 036 project ordinance and associated budget amendment?
So moved.
Mr. Warden and
Second.
Mr. Paget. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Can I ask him just one quick, when we're doing the budget, you're going to give us a forecast with, I've been talking at our town meetings about how much money has got to go in on the wastewater side and the water side just to serve the kind of stuff. And so you'll give us an idea of the funds that we have, the funds that we'll need, and all those
We
things,
will.
right?
That's part of our CIP, obviously, and
Okay.
that budget. And we can present, we haven't in the past, but we can certainly present that as sort of a water system cost versus a wastewater system cost.
Yeah, I'm just more, I think, educating the public as to how much has got to go in. We've talked about Settlers Beach and leaks and things like that, and it's, to maintain the system and the customers we've got, it's a lot of money going to have to go into the system. And so I think it's good to get it out there. Thanks, sir.
All right. Let's see, we're on item E, resolution authorizing the CEO to declare official intent to reimburse expenditures. Mr. Howard.
At the recommendation of our bond counsel, as we are preparing for our next round of bond sales, a lot of these projects are going to come together at one time, so we will need to declare reimbursable expenses because we're going to start to initiate some of that cost ahead of the bond sale in some cases. So this, again, was drafted by the bond counsel. Consider that resolution so that we can capture those expenses as part of the bond sale.
So this is pre-bond expenses?
It looks like this is at 52 million. I'm guessing it's for that project that we just discussed just a little while ago.
That's an example.
The expansion of the wastewater plant. Basically, what we're saying is that we're going to expend some money prior to actually having a bond sale, and we want to let everybody know that we're going to be reimbursed out of that bond sale for what we put up front. Okay.
It's fronting the expenses is what you're saying. We'll get back.
Right.
Good.
Any other questions about that item? We have a motion to adopt the resolution.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. Item F. Mr. Howard, you're up again. Amended advanced metering infrastructure project ordinance.
So on this project, we've been working with our vendor to do the pilot project for the AMI system out on the island, and we had discovered we needed some additional meters. And so we're coming to the board to do a project ordinance and change order for that, project ordinance amendment and change order to cover those expenses and keep them within the project. I think we're doing about 171 additional meters, and the increased cost is $54,000 roughly. So just kind of explain where we're at with that. We've installed the 10 test meters, and we're getting close to being able to satisfy the requirements for the file information sharing between the two vendors and our billing software. So once we get those parts ironed out, we will start to install the pilot meters. There's going to be close to 1,200 meters, I think, once it's all said and done, that we'll be testing for the AMI system. And then we got it worked into our budget this year, our budget request. We're talking about expanding that effort further up the island once we see how well this does. So.
This is a really, really good project. I can't imagine how much money it's going to save us eventually, even though we're going to have to put out a lot to get it going. We've got, what, almost 59,000 meters out there?
It'll be a big effort to do it countywide, but yeah, hopefully we can work it in where we either phase it in or we take large chunks out. By the time we do the island, we'll have roughly 3,000 meters completed. So it'll be a pretty good percentage. But yeah, it's probably over a $20 million project once we go full force with it. But as I've mentioned in some of my updates, we have discovered that, particularly on the island, some of our meters are inaccurate because of the sand that gets in the lines. And the old style meters we're using have moving parts in them, so they wear out over time. These new meters have no moving parts. They're ultrasonic, so the sand won't give it.
You might want to remind the board, because you've talked to me about this one, when you reverse the flow from Surf City and you found out what they're billing versus what we're billing, that's when you found out how, was it like 40%?
It got up to 60% at one point in time, so we were seeing a pretty substantial loss out there on the old cellars, this particular area of the system. We've done some pretty elaborate leak detection work out there with our vendors and our employees, so we're eager to see what next month's report comes. I think we've cut it well in half of what was going on. We think what may be remaining is maybe some loss from the metering devices themselves.
Well, to the chairman's point, this pays for itself.
Oh, it will, yeah.
So with the meters that we think are faulty, are under reading or over reading?
Under reading.
Under reading.
Yeah, because,
So
for
you're liable to
example.
get some complaints from customers
Absolutely. Yeah.
that their
Was higher.
bill's quite a bit higher.
Right, we ran through this when we went through, changed all the ones in Jones County and at Flouris with the sewer meters, or the sewer metering, or lack thereof. So we had our vendor telling us they were visualizing or sensing leaks on the customer side, but the meters weren't picking it up with the leak detection on the current meters. So we know that in those cases,
That's a safety issue.
yeah, so we'll just have to do some outreach, to customers to explain.
You mentioned 60%.
And I appreciate the idea that we're installing these meters on the farthest out parts of our county service area, so that, as we fill in, our people will have to drive less and less to read the meters. So that sounds like the most efficient way to do it. I appreciate that. Okay, so we need a motion to adopt the amended advanced meter infrastructure project ordinance and budget amendment.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And then we need a motion to approve change order number 1 in the amount of $54,012.16, and authorize the CEO to execute the change order.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Item G, Summer House wastewater improvement.
No.
Yes, I've got a partner in crime with me this evening that's going to help with this presentation. I want to take a few minutes to introduce him. You all may or may not know, we got Mr. Mark Young with us this evening. His brother actually was one who did our invocation tonight, so we already had the better half of the family come, so we're left with Mr. Mark. Mark, he's been a longtime employee. I lost count on how many years, but it's 27 years. He started out actually with Swansboro. He was their operator and ran their system, and then came on with ONWASA when it was formed. So he's been with the system and with ONWASA for quite a while. As you know, or I've expressed before, he's an integral part of our wastewater team and has helped us get through many challenges, including the flooding out at Northwest Wastewater Treatment Plant in Richlands area. So that was his crew and his team that sort of saw us through that effort. And just recently got back up and running out there, finally. I think they're still working out some tweaks with the SCADA system. But, he was also recently called upon to help the town of Pink Hill and gather a team of ONWASA employees to help Pink Hill, and got recognized for that effort through our rural water partners. And speaking of that, he was recently given the title of Operator of the Year for the state. So we'd like to give him that introduction when he comes to present at various leadership meetings and vendor meetings. So I just want to introduce Mark Young, Wastewater Operator of the Year. And he's going to give us a update of our Summer House Wastewater Treatment Plant project and some of the improvements that we've got going out there. He's also brought some show and tell items with him tonight, and one of his operators as well, Dakota's here. So floor is yours, Mark.
Okay. It's good to be with you tonight. Thank you for having me. Just fast forward. Okay. So I'm here tonight to present to you a presentation that I gave to the residents of Summer House on February the 13th of this year. So we'll jump right into the presentation. I want to first give you an overview of how ONWASA is able to provide water and sewer services from a regulatory standpoint. The EPA regulates the discharge of treatment of wastewater under the Clean Water Act. The National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System issues permits to all wastewater dischargers and treatment facilities. These permits establish specific discharge limits, monitoring and reporting requirements. The federal framework, laws, regulations, and standards are implemented at the state level, as we know as the Department of Environmental Quality. Within the Department of Environmental Quality, there is a division of water resources, and they're responsible for the environmental protection and quality of the state surface waters and groundwater, and to ensure safe drinking water for our residents. This authority is granted in accordance with laws, policies, and rules established by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, the North Carolina General Assembly, the Environmental Management Commission, and the Commission for Public Health. The North Carolina Department of Water Resources operates in 7 regional offices throughout North Carolina, and ONWASA is within the Wilmington region. ONWASA is responsible for providing services to our customers by researching community needs, obtaining permits, facilities, and personnel to operate those facilities in compliance with their respective permitted regulations and limits. ONWASA overview, there are 19 wastewater treatment operators who serve the areas of Onslow County, and were responsible for the treatment of over 800 million gallons of wastewater in '24. These men and women operate and maintain 6 wastewater treatment facilities, utilize 7 process types, processes that include conventional extended aeration, oxidation ditch, aerated and passive lagoons, membrane bioreactors, and sequencing batch reactors. 5 of the 6 plants are permitted as non-discharge with state permits. And that means that the plants do not discharge to rivers or streams within the county, but use spray irrigation or infiltration basins for disposal. Summer House is a non-discharge facility. Little history about Summer House. Around 2006, ONWASA acquired the Summer House plant from RA Management Group. ONWASA obtained operational permits from the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality at that time. However, due to only a few houses being built or under construction at the time, the plant was set in a store-in-place mode due to the number of users being too low for the plant to operate. In 2014, the system users finally reached a satisfactory level to begin operations, and the plant was placed in service. Over the years, several repairs have been made on the plant to include a few membrane replacements. Due to the problematic history of the plant, ONWASA began planning for other alternatives. In 24, construction began on the first phase of the plant rehab project that includes replacing the hollow fiber membranes with new flat plate membranes. The upgrade will also include new regenerative blowers that are more consistent and have less breakdowns, and they are quieter, which I'm sure the neighbors would appreciate. The project will add new fine screens that will have better removal of larger particles and increased protection of the membranes and other plant components. This is the most recent project schedule that we were given. Project shows the milestones over time, and most importantly, the project completion date sometime around the middle or end of June of this year. And that's down at the bottom right of your screen. Little education, the little wastewater nerd time. I'm going to walk you through the process of the Summer House plant to try to help you understand what is actually going on as far as the treatment goes on there. The plant is a MEMJet Express system by Siemens. And it was delivered in 4 train types. That's the 4 blue tubes you see on the screen. The operational type is MBR, or also known as membrane biological reactor, and it utilizes hollow fiber membranes. The biological process for the plant is activated sludge, where you use aeration in your system to activate bacteria and protozoa to treat waste. The plant has an air-rated influent EQ, and that in the photo there, that is the building in the center top between the blue trains. That is the equalization basin. An equalization basin allows for the operator to help control the flow through the plant. So in storm surge periods, it gives you a storage option. The aeration helps pre-aerate before it goes into the actual treatment of the plant train, and it helps ease the treatment load because it already has some oxygen in it. The bacteria are like you and I. They have to have oxygen to function. Fine screens are screens that remove larger particles that are coming in the flow stream, and it helps not only to improve the treatment ability, but it also protects the downstream equipment, specifically the membranes. Heavier large particles or hardened particles can tear or rip membranes, which in effect they're no longer able to treat wastewater properly. Grit removal is a necessity. That's where the inorganics are removed from the flow stream. Inorganics are in competition to the organic side of the treatment, and this is an organic environment, so you want to remove things that would be counterproductive to the treatment. Anoxic and aerobic zones are also included in the plant. The anoxic zone where we want to denitrify, and then move into the aeration zone where the nitrates can gas off out of the plant. Rescreening is important. It's where you take part of your mixed liquor, which is the activated sludge already under aeration, and you return a portion of it back to the head of your plant, and you mix it with the incoming flow to help activate those organisms and improve treatment. Waste activated sludge. Sludge is a byproduct of wastewater. Everybody goes to one side of the coin all the time when you tell them you're a wastewater operator. The truth is that wastewater is 99.6% water and the other percent solids. So that's why we're wastewater operators and not the other. But this is a byproduct, and it's necessary to remove sludge from your plant. It's your insurance policy. So you're basically controlling the mass within the plant and in the sludge to keep it at a balanced level, so your treatment is always at its optimum, and you're not having spills and equipment failures and things like that from being overstressed. So we have to take sludge out periodically, and then we contract that out to a third party, and then they come and remove it from our digesters after we simplify it as best we can. The primary source of disinfection at Summer House is UV, ultraviolet light. But as the state requires, at all these plants, you have to have a redundant system, and in most cases, it's sodium hypochlorite at a percentage of about 12.5%. The reject and upset basin, that's at the top right of your screen. That is there for when the plant effluent quality does not meet the compliance with the permit. The operator sends that flow back to that basin, and then at some point it is retreated through the entire process. It don't go midway, it goes all the way back to the head of the plant, and then it's retreated in full to ensure that the discharge is in compliance with the plant permit. And then the disposal method for Summer House is high rate infiltration basins, and I'm going to get into that more specific in just a few seconds, hopefully. Every plant that has a permit gets this attachment that the state of North Carolina provides, and it identifies what their limitations and monitoring requirements are. The information directs the operators to the location of the plant process to be monitored, which at the top of this form you can see it says PPI01 WWTP effluent. That is the location of the plant where the operator would collect these samples in whatever fashion the state has identified. It identifies the parameter to be analyzed, the unit of measurement for the value of the sample to be reported, limitations for the facility to be compliant, the frequency of measurement for how often a sample must be collected, analyzed, and reported to the state, and the sample type, the fashion in which the sample is collected. There are two types of sample collection. One is called composite and one is grab, and you can see that on the far right column. A composite sample is a sample that is collected over a 24-hour period and can be done by an automatic sampler machine or a physical collection by an operator, but no less than 4 samples within the sample period, usually 24 hours. These samples provide a representation of the plant's operation over the course of a day. A grab sample is collected by an operator typically for analysis within a short period of time and are representative of the plant operation in that moment. Hollow fiber membranes, you've heard me say a few times, these are the original membranes that Summer House came with. And as I said, I believe we've done at least 3, maybe 4 change outs since we've owned the plant. The hollow fiber membranes are a class of artificial membrane containing a semi-permeable barrier in the form of hollow fiber. Originally developed in the 1960s for reverse osmosis applications, hollow fiber membranes have since become prevalent in water treatment I can't say the word desalination, cell cultures, and medicine. Notice it don't say wastewater. The disadvantage of these types of membranes are irreversible fouling and fiber breakage are the main problem concerning hollow fiber filtration. Because of the flexibility of the fibers, they are more likely to break when under high strain compared to other methods. And if you look at the top right of your photo, this is a set of membranes that we actually pulled from Summer House. One on the left is brand new, one on the right is well used. But if you look at the openings in the photo, those are from tears and pulls where buildup had gotten packed in there and pulled membranes down. Our staff would frequently pull these and break this stuff out of these membranes, but not really showing much improvement each time we did it. And you can see why they're referred to as the spaghetti style. Those fibers are just loosely hanging in the water. What is our future, though? Kubota flat plate cassette membranes, more like Legos. So we're going from spaghetti to Legos. These flat plate membranes are the type that are currently being installed in phase 1 of the Summer House project, and I have an example with me tonight. So you're welcome to view this. These membranes are stackable cassettes that go together like Legos. They provide a more robust method for wastewater treatment versus the loosely hanging spaghetti type. The plates are housed in a frame that secures the plates in place and provide increased treatment capacity and improved compliance with the plant permit. These membranes are currently in operation at ONWASA's North Topsail Beach plant. Infiltration basins. Summer House has 2. Infiltration basins are permeable earthen basins designed and operated to store, disperse, and infiltrate treated effluent from municipal wastewater treatment facilities into the subsurface. Infiltration basins are typically used in conjunction with wastewater pond systems or small package wastewater treatment plants like Summer House. Summer House infiltration basins, we know them as Infiltration Basin 1 and 2. The residents of Summer House knows it as Lake Catherine and Lake Willow. So what are the projects that we have going on at Summer House in addition to what you already heard tonight? Infiltration Basin 2, or Lake Willow. We are in the process of duckweed ecosystem and long-term management program in that basin. We've explored various solutions to remedy concerns of the residents, developed a work plan to rehab the basin. We have located a third party to address immediate needs and implement long-term management plan. We sought and obtained approval from the North Carolina Department of Water Resources to rehab the basin. Purchase order was obtained and a contractor was provided a notice to proceed on February the 12th of this year. Project notes, manual removal of the duckweed and algae on the day that the first day they did that, they took 3 to 4 tons out of the basin of duckweed. Herbicidal application called Sonar. We've had the first application of it, and I think we're getting ready to do the second one within the next week or so, which we're starting. It's a slow process with the herbicide, so you don't see the result right away because you are putting it in a body of water, so it takes time. But we're going to go ahead and move forward with the second application on that. Additional aeration system to work with the fountain. We have received a quote on that, and we are seeking additional quotes to where we'll be adding additional aeration to the basin. We install, or I don't know if you install them or dump them or what you did, but we put some carp in there back in February. Long-term monitoring and treatment to maintain the health of the system. ONWASA staff has begun collecting daily samples for phosphorus, nitrates, and ammonia to monitor the health of the basin and take action if needed. So we want to stay out in front of it, not be behind it. The air jammer project for the plant upset pond, the project slated to install 2 pump systems at each end of the plant upset pond with chemical additive to trap organic decomposition and reduce odors. So far on this project, we approved a design back in January, requested for bids to be sent out. We had a mandatory contractor site visit. The contractor bids were due on February the 20th. We received 1 bid on the air jammer project that was over budget. Staff was directed to look at alternatives. So after review with doing it from an internal perspective by the staff, we were able to show a reduction in project cost of around approximately $95,000. A purchase order has been obtained, and we have forwarded the order to the vendor, who will provide the pumps, motors, control panels, and air jammer devices. And so we have placed our first order on the air jammer system, and the construction date is still to be determined until we get everything here and move forward with the installation.
Mark, could you kind of, I don't know whether the board's aware of the biggest problem we had with this and what's going on? Could you just tell us about the smell and all?
It's an odor control system, and a lot of the leading complaints that we were getting from the area were for odor coming from the plant. The plant is not in full operation at this time. We are actually bypassing flow that's going over to Holly Ridge while we are addressing the concerns inside the upset basin. And part of that was to remove some of the settable solids that were in the basin, which staff is near close or have finished. Maybe this week we'll have it finished. They've made a lot of great progress out there getting that sludge out of that basin and moving it. So that's going to help with odors just in of itself. But is that what you want me to say? Or answer, I'm sorry?
Something about it stinks is what he said, yeah.
Instinct?
It stinks.
It definitely does.
I appreciate the effort y'all have done in doing this, because it almost looked like it was a dead end when we had such high bids on this. So it gives the residents hope that something will be done shortly to relieve them of that odor.
We definitely got together with our colleagues at ONWASA they're not necessarily wastewater plant operators. We've got folks from the water treatment side, our distribution folks, our facilities maintenance folks, and we all got together and decided how can we do something internally. And I think we've had great success so far, and we're moving forward with it, especially in the cost savings department. And finally, as you've already heard some of this tonight, Phase 2 Summer House Plant Rehab is coming up as soon as we're done with Phase 1. The Holly Ridge Sewer Interceptor Force Main to North Topsail Beach, and North Topsail Beach plant expansion to $3 million. We definitely need it. And as you know, ONWASA is committed to serving our community with the best customer service possible. We will continue to respond to community needs and provide water and sewer services in compliance with our permits and regulations that govern the organization. And I thank you for your time and attention.
Mark, we don't use Lake Catherine at all, though, do we?
No, sir. We have, Lake Catherine has not been put in service because of the other infiltration basin being able to handle the flow, and the plant not being able to produce all the flow that it was once designed to do. Yes, sir.
Just one quick one. So Kubota's a Japanese system, right?
It is.
And you had the carp. Have you thought about using koi for aesthetic purpose?
They would probably throw it in.
certainly look better.
When you said carp, I'm thinking Japanese and I'm thinking koi, so I couldn't help myself.
These are grass carp, so yeah. I don't remember how many we put in, but
They'll eat anything.
they're in there.
They'll eat anything.
We were surprised, but the state, I mean, they have really been great to work with on this project. They are partnering with us, they're giving us, advice and helping us make these decisions, and so we're great for our folks down at the Wilmington Regional Office.
And we've all but eliminated the midge fly problem out of that pond.
The mid-fly problem? Well, we still continue to treat on a regular basis, on a monthly basis. We didn't, but I have not had any mid-fly complaints. But we are going to continue treatment.
But
Because
you really like this new system, don't you?
the new Kubota membranes. So for ONWASA to have me standing in front of you selling or talking about a membrane is a miracle, because I'm an old school guy. I like the old conventional plants. I know what the manual world is, not all this high technology stuff, but I've embraced it and I've learned a lot about it. And to see the ability and the high quality of treatment that these plants can do and save so much money over the life of a plant, I have no reason not to like them. But it took me learning about them. I'm on board with it now. That it?
All right.
Thank you.
Questions?
Nice job.
For our operator of the year?
Yeah.
Yeah, Chairman, I forgot to point out that, I mean, as you saw, Mark is very knowledgeable with this. He has actually been authorized by the state to put on the courses that operators are required to have to move up in their certification. So I don't know how many classes we've given so far,
I've taught 3 so far.
3 and 15, 20 operators at a time,
Yeah.
right? So he saved us thousands of dollars just by doing that. And we've opened it up to other organizations like City of Jacksonville. They've sent some operators over there. So it keeps us from having to send them out of the county to get training. So kudos to Mark for seeking out that opportunity and getting the state approval. And he's worked through the Coastal Community College to do that. So
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Moving on to item 4, public comment. Do you have anybody signed up for public comment?
Mr. Chairman, we have Ms. Taryn Carranza at the first.
Hello. ONWASA Board. My name's Taryn. Can you all hear me okay? Okay. I'm a resident of Sneads Ferry. I have 4 children, so I guess recipient of that Dixon plant water region. So I had developed some curiosity about, after seeing, I think it was on a bill of mine, that we, from time to time, purchase water from the air station. I was kind of surprised, knowing of some of the sites and the cleanup that has gone on with the air station and currently going on, and had a thought as to how can there possibly be good sourceable water there still with all of the contamination sites. Again, just some thoughts I'm relaying, but it kind of got me curious as to where else, where is the other water come from that sources the Dixon water treatment plant. And so I became aware of the wells, like in the well 10, 11 region, and then, seeing of what the prior land usage of all of those areas were. And I wanted to be able to find something online that showed that areas had been, I don't know, I guess maybe it would be like a land study or something had been performed to kind of clear all of those locations, whether or not groundwater is affected, things of that nature. And I haven't personally been able to find the document or the remedial investigation report, things of that nature, that would kind of put my concerns at ease if I could see something. But I'm not actually sure that there has been the investigation side of things taken place yet. And just seeing the various things that were of the land, done on the land. It just had me concerned, and you all earlier had mentioned the piping of the new pipes that will go to the Dixon Water Treatment Plant, and where are all of those pipes coming from? You know, at one point I had asked the question on a call to ONWASA where the test well location's at, you know, and they didn't want to share. I also asked if we do similar voluntary testing like the air station does. They had a voluntary test sheet, for instance, explosive agents. ONWASA on the phone told me that they do not test for explosive agents voluntarily in the sampling of the water. So I'm just more concerned there with, if we're not testing for the explosive agents, do we as a community even know if we're potentially drinking them at this point? And so I guess looking for clarity, whether or not, like, the Camp Davis landfill site has been thought about being close to those wells, whether or not we are in fact having the water tested for explosive agents, or we're not because the Clean Water Act says we don't have to, that type of thing. I'm sorry, I've gone over.
Thank you.
That's it now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, yes. I can speak to a couple of those if you'd like me to.
Oh, yes, would you like to address that now?
So as far as the air station goes, we do have an intergovernmental relationship with the base where we share resources. They actually purchase water from us, and we do purchase water from them in peak demand times, and it services our southwest area, our tank that's in the southwest area of the system. Their system is monitored just like ours. It's a state-regulated system, so they have permits just like we do, and their source water is almost identical to our source water in the Castle Hayne aquifer. I know there were some concerns. We all are aware of the Camp Lejeune water situation, and it was an isolated area, and they had some zones that they took water from that are no longer being used. So, I mean, they also serve their own, I mean, they continue to serve their own customers on base. So we're confident. The base. Air station, New River Air Station, where we purchase water from. At Camp Davis, we do have some wells there. I'm not sure, honestly, I can't tell you whether we test for explosive agents. I'd have to ask our lab and then our consultants that look into those sites for us. We are familiar with the Camp Davis landfill site. We actually looked into some wells at one time, I think back when it was the county water system. There were some additional wells that were on that property, but because of the proximity to that landfill site, they didn't pursue those any further. But I do know we test for what the state does require us to test for. We did have some concerns with PFAS in that area because the base, they saw some in their test wells. So we actually monitor that more frequently, and they have test wells that monitor it so we can know if it's migrating towards our well field. And if it does, we'll discontinue use. But we have a third-party consultant that works with us to tell us if there is any concerns with that.
Well, I understand, but am I still allowed to speak at this time, or is it done?
She can be with
I can talk with you offline if you need to.
Suggest you two get together, they get together.
Yeah, how about if you stay
He's not
after?
going anywhere for a while anyway.
You want to
Yeah,
stay,
we'll-
you can stay after and talk to him if you like.
Yeah, we'll keep
Talk to you.
him here to answer your questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I understand it, the water in the Castle Hayne aquifer is hundreds.
It's a lot
old and,
deeper. Yeah, where we saw the PFAS, if we're talking about the PFAS, it was a higher level aquifer that was on the base. So our system draws water from a lot deeper than that particular aquifer that was contaminated. And I think that is the case for what they found on base as well. So it was
Okay.
a more shallow aquifer.
Thank you. Thank you. Do we have any other public comments? Yes.
Mr. Chairman, our next speaker is Riley Lewis.
Riley. How you doing?
Doing well.
All right. Hi, y'all. Thank you so much for having public comment during your meeting today. I hope you're having a good evening. So my name is Riley Lewis. I actually live in Morehead City, but I am your water keeper. So I work with local communities and residents to make sure you can swim and fish in our local waterways. And then I work a lot on flooding within our coastal communities because that is an ever-growing issue within our area. But I really appreciated all the talk about expansion and trying to accommodate the growth that's going to be in this area and making sure that we're kind of keeping our water use in mind. I do want to specifically thank Mr. Young for your extensive background on all of this. It's interesting to hear about the algicide use within Lake Willow. I actually was just at the NC State campus for the past 2 days at a conference doing Water Resources and Research Institute, their WRI conference, and they actually talked about how the use of constructed wetlands as that last almost treatment process before entering that waterway could really help reduce those nitrogen loads. So I'm going to really encourage, as we're thinking about updating infrastructure and as we're thinking about being able to take on more customers, that we start including some of these extra steps that honestly don't really cost that much. A constructed wetland is an stormwater control measure that's used in stormwater and is very, very good at taking up these nutrients and would save a lot of money when it came to preventing the use of algicides and having to remove that duckweed. So there's some preventative measures that can go in place to keep those lakes at a little bit of a healthier standpoint. I also would like to take this time, because we are talking about our growth and improving the infrastructure, that there was a couple comments about how much water we're pulling and how our demand is going to be higher. I think this is a great opportunity to start thinking about water reclamation within our new developments and larger infrastructure projects. I think trying to implement what we're allowed to do within the county and the state to be pulling secondary use water within these systems will really help save consumers on their prices within their own bills, but also really help preserve the waters that we have available, especially when it comes to our aquifer. We're all very aware that the aquifer is being drained fairly rapidly, and especially if we want to see growth in this area, I think this is a perfect opportunity, because we're expanding and because we're planning for this, for us to get ahead of it, and we don't have to try and backtrack and put in this infrastructure when our water levels start getting too low. So I'm happy to talk more about these offline, or I guess we're not online, so one-on-one later. But again, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to the growth in water quality within Onslow County and ONWASA going forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and we have a presentation by and for our legal counsel.
Yeah. Chuck Kitchen has an announcement I think you want to give to the board.
Well, go ahead.
Okay.
You got a speech?
No, I do not have a speech. I do not believe in speeches. I just wanted to say that I have been practicing law now for 45 years and have decided that basically that's long enough. I have been legal counsel here for over 14 years at ONWASA. It has been a great opportunity for me. I've enjoyed working with ONWASA. I love the people in Onslow County. Before this, I was living up in Durham. Let me just say, it's wonderful to live in Onslow County compared to the central part of the state. But it is now time for me to hang it up, I think, at this point. So this will be my last meeting with ONWASA, and I'll be glad to help you as you recruit and get the word out to get a new lawyer.
Thank you. Mr. Kitchen has led us since January 2011.
Right.
Led us through several CEO changes, and I think he actually served as an interim CEO for some portion of time. So we wanted to present you with this beautiful plaque to go on in your new house. And we know you're going to put it right on your kitchen table right there, right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate your service.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I
sir.
think I've been with him from the start, more or less, and even when he was in Holly Ridge, and I've always treasured his knowledge and his information he's gave us, and I really appreciate working with you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right, all right. Okay, we ready to move on? Your comments, Mr. Howard?
I do have a couple more items, if you'll bear with me. Let me get my notes pulled up here. Just want to follow up on a couple comments too that were made. Just to point out, our Northwest plant that we talked about earlier that flooded during Hurricane Florence is a water reclamation facility, and it was set up to do what Ms. Lewis was talking about. I think there were some issues lining up the demand for that, so it might be something that can be explored in the future and definitely as we develop new plants. But that one was set up to have what we call a purple pipe system in place to provide water back to the community. Our treatment operator or deputy COO, who is actually on training this week, which is why Seth Brown is not here. He's with the Army National Guard, so he's pulling his time this month. But he had updated me because I guess he was listening in and did point out that we do test for VOCs, volatile compounds, and SOCs, synthetic compounds, at our well sites. So that's something that we do that is required by the state. My other updates you have seen, if you've traveled Highway 24 between Piney Green and Hubert, you've probably seen some clearing going on. Our force main project is well underway now. I think they've fused a lot of the pipe, if not all of the pipe, and have it staged out there along the highway. Done some good job cleaning that right away. They've also began work on the pump station at the Swansboro wastewater treatment plant. So I think some concrete work has already been done there. So got that broken up into two projects as well. That's TA Loving working on the pump station and Gemco working on the pipe. And I think they just put a project sign up actually today out in the Cuba area, so people can see what that project is about. Happy to report too that Wallace Creek repairs are underway. I think the pipe is being fused this week or has already been fused, and so they'll start putting that back under the creek, and we'll repair that break that we had in that Wallace Creek crossing on Piney Green Road. Quick update on the budget. Leadership team and staff have been working on the budget. We'll be finalizing that here in the next month to present to the board in May. That'll be our 2025-26 budget recommendations. We're also working with our third-party consultant to update our rate model with this new information, and so we have the latest and greatest information going into our rates. We don't have another meeting next month, so I want to point out that April is Safe Digging Month, so we have a great partnership with 811, and so we like to point out and let our customers know that please call 811 before you dig, so we don't have any surprises out there with our water and sewer lines. We have had those happen before. Also want to say that we want to thank this past month we had over 900 customers participate in a customer survey. So we appreciate the effort there to give us feedback. We are always actively looking for customer feedback. So if you missed that opportunity, there's always other opportunities to give feedback when you interact with our staff. So we just want to ask that customers do that because we do like that information, and we'll share with the board the summary report on that customer survey. And that's all I have, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. Board comments, and I guess we'll start with Mr. Warden.
Just, Chuck, thank you so much for your counsel, your guidance, your wisdom, and your legal expertise and helping navigate some of these bond issues especially. I know that was tricky, and even our purchase of the Plurus, making sure that all the contract details, you've done a yeoman's work and good job for us. So I just say thank you.
Thank you.
I'll echo that, and I also ask, is there any commentary going on about the memorandum we received from the general on the base on the wastewater flow?
We're constantly trying to get some feedback, and we're strategizing on how to get a meeting lined up to figure out how we work through that. We actually earlier today in this building, we had our staff participate in a water resource group. So it's a partnership between the city and the ONWASA and the base. And so their base representative was there today and was committed to meeting with us to work on some future partnerships. So I think we're just keeping that conversation going. They have some limitations right now. We're trying to see how we help them through that. If it's securing more funding to make some improvements to their facilities so that they could continue to accommodate the agreement they have with us and the city.
I'm not a chemist, but one of the problems is nitrogen levels.
Yes. They're a direct discharge plant, so they do have different limitations than we see at some of our plants because they do directly discharge it to the New River. So one of their concerns is increasing their capacity to us will put them in violation of their current limitations. So trying to explore how we navigate that.
I'll also lend my appreciation to Chuck for all his hard work and guidance of ONWASA legal matters and other matters over the years too. You'll be missed, but happy days ahead of you, I'm sure. Mr. Young, excellent presentation. Congratulations on being the Operator of the Year. And my last point is, who do I attribute the artistic skill for the icons on the agenda? Is that Heather's work?
No.
Well, I add them to the agenda. I didn't actually, create them, but I do put them on the agenda.
Everybody notice them? Okay.
All right. Mr. Paget, welcome to the board.
Thank you, sir. Being one of the founding fathers of ONWASA years ago, Mr. Bittner is well aware of that. I'm sure probably Mr. Warren as well. I'm glad to be back. Want to be a part. Got a lot of learning to do, catching up to do. But I want the board to know I'm here to work as a team to do what's best for Oslo County and City of Jacksonville, top all of them. That's what we're here for, is the betterment for our citizens. And I'm proud to be a part of it. And I thank you so much for having me back. Your presentation, Mr. Young, was very helpful so far to me. And I appreciate that and look forward to working with everyone on the board and how we can all make things better for the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Paget. Mr. Hines?
I always compliment our staff for the jobs they do and how they solve problems. And the summer house deal was one of those examples. It didn't look like it was going to be solved without being very costly, and they found a way to do it. And all of y'all who worked on that would be commended because it's really going to make a difference, and I hope we can get it done. I also want to thank, naturally, everybody that's out there on TV land watching us, and especially one lady, Miss Jeanette. She always watches us, so I want to say hey to her and thank her for watching. And Tony, welcome to the board.
Thank you.
Mr. Grant?
Not to repeat, Chuck, thank you. It's been great working with you. Great presentation. I enjoyed that. You got a good team working for you. There's so much money that's going to have to be spent in the next couple of years.
Oh, yeah, to replace that, yeah.
And there's literally people at North Top, so we're glad that we're going to be able to get water and sewer taken care of. So thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Vice Chair?
Mr. Paget, welcome board. Mark,
Tony,
great presentation. And, man, I'm floored with the whole Chuck situation. I'm gonna miss you, dude. I don't know what we're gonna do without you. We hit the ground running when you first got here with some all kind of wild stuff. I didn't even know you could put that many zeros on checks. But, man, you're gonna be missed, man. I mean, it's, man. And again, thank you, everybody. Thank you, ladies, for coming out tonight. I got to hand it to you too, ma'am. I've never heard anybody ask if we had explosives in our water, so.
That's a new one.
That's a new one, so. Anyway, but thank all of y'all. And anyway.
Thank you. They've said just about everything that I would say. I do appreciate the public comments. Thank you, ladies, for being here. Don't often get to hear from the public, so we appreciate you being here. I appreciate Mr. Kitchen. He's certainly been a help getting us through a lot of things over the last about 8 years that I've been here. Getting us through Plurus and some of the acquisitions and sales of some property, and golly, we've done a lot that you've really helped us get through. We appreciate that. And I've always been able to, I know when my phone number pops up on his, he says, "Oh, no, not him again." But yeah, he's always answered my phone calls, and I appreciate that. I wanted to congratulate Mr. Young.
Yeah.
I never got to officially congratulate him on the Operator of the Year award. We thank you for your service and all that you're doing for ONWASA and Onslow County. And I did want to mention irrigation meters. It's coming time that people are going to start watering their grass, and I want to make sure that people understand, and if they used to be on Plurus and they were paying a flat fee for their sewer usage, they're now on ONWASA and they're paying by the gallon. So if they don't have an irrigation meter, they need to call the office and look into to installing that irrigation meter, or be aware that they're going to have a different water bill than what they expected in the past. And also, we made a quick trip to Japan a few months ago, and it was instructive how the Japanese are using these Kubota systems to reclaim their water. They're building, of course, they build buildings like I don't know if we'll ever have here, but you got huge high-rise buildings, and they actually put these Kubota systems in the basement of all the buildings, and then they reclaim the wastewater and use it throughout the building. So water reclamation is coming. You're right, and it's something that we have to keep in mind. I'm not sure. Well, we always have to look at the economics, and you have to see what works for people. But I think that as Onslow County grows, we're going to have to look toward uses for reclaimed water and how we might be able to provide that in the future. So we thank you for those comments. It's something that we need to keep in mind as we move forward. And I don't have anything else. Anybody else? We're ready to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. We're adjourned. Thank you.
Nice job.